This is a device that makes the sound of the heart. It creates the same frequency of sound, 528. So take a second and imagine what it sounds like to you. What do you think it's going to sound like? Sorry, if you can hear Alessandrina recording a video, that's her. If you just focus on my voice, it should be louder. So, yeah, what do you feel the heart sound is going to sound like? This is a little whistle, and it makes the sound of the heart. Ready? So, is that what you expected? This whistle has taught me so much. This sound has taught me so much. You know, when we think of the sound of the heart, we expect perhaps something very celebratory and like more exciting and more perhaps happy. And in this tone, it had a sort of almost a seriousness to it. It had this almost like had like this the the intelligence of the acceptance of life and death. Like the sound, it has this sort of acceptance of death in it. Listen, it's like something you might hear at a funeral. Listen. Do you hear that? Almost like there's an ending there. And there's a constancy, and there's an inner peace, and there's a beauty to the sound, and a gentleness to it, and a caringness to it. And there is this sense of almost like acceptance of death. I don't know how else to put it. I wonder if you're hearing that. And this is a reminder of an understanding that I would like to share. And it's that the truly lasting positive experiences in life, the truly lasting experiences of joy and inner peace, the truly conscious emotions that we can experience are not a distraction from our fear and pain. They're not the other side of the coin of their fear and pain. You probably didn't expect me to say that. I don't know. That being said, a lot of positive emotions like happiness and excitement and celebration that people do is oftentimes done in times where something they feared didn't happen, or some pain they had seemed to be diminished. Like a lot of the happiness and excitement that human beings experience today, that egos experience today, is actually the other side of the coin of their fear and their pain. And they're usually happy and celebrating because they'll either, have more status or have more money or have more security and have more longevity in life perhaps, and better health, and that it's sort of like that, those metrics of more beauty. It's these sort of things that we base our state of being is typically based on when we live from ego, unfortunately. And it's unfortunate because those things they don't last. Whenever people are happy because they just got a business deal and now they have then what happens the next day? They're back to work worrying and stressing in the very same patterns. And so finding happiness and trying to use happiness as a sort of antidote to our fear or antidote to our pain limits us tremendously. It limits us to the quality of life that we can have carrying that fear and pain. And fear and pain does limit our quality of life. If we can heal our fear and our pain, which all negative emotions come from, all stress, all anxiety, all sadness and anger and hatred and conflict. If we can heal our fear and pain, then we can find a state of joy, a state of inner peace that is independent of life circumstances. A state of joy and inner peace that is open to death, that is okay with death, that is okay with things coming and going. A state of inner peace and joy that is not attached to anything and not averse to anything. So no attachment, no aversion, no desire even. Just joy and inner peace coming from our hearts. Grateful for all that is and at peace with all that is. And that's what this sound reminds me of. It has such, that sound has a sort of courage and inner peace to it. It has this sort of, it sounds like that sound has made peace with life and with death. And truly, in order to truly love, which might be the core of the heart, which makes the sound of, in order to truly love, we must be at peace with life and death. We cannot love if we're afraid of losing or dying. We cannot even fully love someone if we're afraid of losing them. Because then we'd be afraid of losing them rather than busy loving them. We'd be busy being afraid of losing them. So to love life, to love ourselves, to love other people, it's essential, it's necessary that we make peace with life and death. And when we've made peace with life and death, and when we're not busy desiring or feeling safe from that which we fear, or which is what most happiness is for most people, for most egos, usually when they're happy, it's because they're celebrating a sense of safety. And for most people, the greatest quality of happiness they ever experience is a sense of safety. And that's just like the first energy center that we have, the root chakra. Imagine feeling happiness at the level of the heart, or the third eye chakra, an energy center, or the crown energy center that is connected to the divine. Imagine the happiness there, and the happiness in our hearts, even the happiness in our throats, energy centers. So I hope that this has connected some dots and reminded you of something that is gonna become a part of your process, and that you'll remember this conversation, or that you'll remember something related to this conversation later today, tomorrow, or some other day in your process, and that as a result of having seen this and processed this information, that now hopefully that it'll benefit you a lot, that you'll experience more joy, more inner peace, and that you'll also begin to become aware of when your happiness is based on attachment and aversion and ego and perhaps desire and perhaps safety and fear and pain. And in those moments, maybe certainly allow yourself to be happy and check in with yourself and see if you can connect and raise your vibration to a higher frequency of joy, a higher frequency of happiness. One that is not dependent on the business deal or that good news you received or not receiving the bad news you thought might happen. So that you can actually experience constant joy and inner peace, or work towards that, to experience that more in your life, so that you can live free from negative thoughts and emotions and be clear, have clarity, which is what comes with joy and inner peace, a lot of clarity, and therefore find the best paths for you in your life, make the most optimal choices, and have a great life. I hope this helps. I hope you connected to this.